Bliss is a god-awful character that never should have been created. The Powerpuff Girls was a great show about superheroed 5-year-olds that had to protect their city before bedtime. Awesome, classic stuff. Now, growing up, the Powerpuff Girls was literally one of my all-time favorite cartoons as a kid, so I probably know a lot more lore than necessary for a show that is pretty lighthearted for the most part.
Well, I love it when you girls fight.
Hey guys, it's Spooksy back at it again with another video. Smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into this!
Hey guys, I forgot to mention this, but I started a Discord, so if you want to join something fun, link is in the description.
Bliss is one of the worst add-on or additional characters I have seen in recent cartoon history. Now, I know this is old news or whatever, like the reboot is like 5 years old now, like it's old news, but I didn't have a channel then, so I wasn't able to properly complain about how bad this was. So here I am in 2021. By the way, Happy New Year, hope you all get through this, and if you're watching this video, rough start already, just kidding, don't click off. Anyway, the Powerpuff Girls was my all-time favorite cartoon growing up as a kid, and even now I like to watch it. That said, I know a lot about the show due to my obsessive personality when it comes to my interests. Anyway, I want to talk about why Bliss just misses the mark for me. Like, they shot in the opposite direction. So today, why doesn't Bliss work as a character, and why was she so negatively received by the audience? A number of things, but I'm going to start with the fact that it's a reboot, and not only is it a reboot, but the original show was already lasting way too long, and the later seasons were weaker than the initial ones. This is a phenomenon called seasonal rot. Reboots are very hit or miss because the fans of the original show, if alive, are not going to like it. Okay, their nostalgia is being toyed and changed, which is why I personally could never get into Teen Titans Go. It just hurts thinking about what I lost. However, I still gave the Powerpuff Girls a chance, and I wasn't even mad because my expectations were already sitting on the floor. The show is not just different, though. A very key element was removed: violence. Cartoons in the 90s, for whatever reason, were able to include more mature themes and violence than cartoons today. The code of conduct has definitely gotten stricter, which is why when Samurai Jack came back after almost 10 years, it was put on Adult Swim. So blood, guns, implied nudity, and blood could all be in that show. And all of those things that I listed were in the OG Powerpuff Girls. All of that. But a mature rating is too high for that show. I mean, the main cast consists of kindergartners, so while they amped up Samurai Jack, they had to dumb down the Powerpuff Girls. So it kind of sucks now, because now it's a show about 3 girls going to school, and who wants to watch that? Like, imagine a kid coming home from middle school just to watch kids in middle school. So understandably, the ratings dropped because it was boring. So in a frenzy to boost the ratings and get people talking about the show, because no one really was after the initial release, they did what a lot of shows do and they refuse to let a show die. They add another character to the main cast. Enter Bliss, who again was not well received. For one, her body is very strange compared to Blossom and her sisters. Like, why the birthing hips? I get that she's supposed to be older, and I will explain why that too is awful, but it's just off-putting, and I'd let that slide because although I don't like the design, I don't like a lot of things. However, they got rid of Miss Keen's boobs, completely nuked Miss Bellum, also known as Cerebellum, because she was the brains of the government, because it quote-unquote sent a wrong message. But it's okay for Bliss to have birthing hips. Like, Anyway. Also, she has these uneven, fried ends, bright blue hair, while all her sisters have a calmer and natural palette. She kind of looks like a fan character. Like, the design is just completely awful to me. But like I said, a lot of things are awful. I also gotta mention that she's brown. I don't believe in forced diversity. Like, I don't think that it's actually a thing. Seeing a non-white person in any setting isn't immediately forced. I don't watch Star Wars, but I remember when everyone was saying that the female character was an example of forced diversity. But the reason this character isn't great isn't because she's not a man. You can write believable stories of minorities and women as long as you write the character before the demographic. Like, if you write a good character. And that even goes with historical shows. You could cast an Asian man as George Washington, which is valid, I guess. But what's even more cool is finding a way to naturally blend people in the setting. There are travelers and explorers and immigrants of all races you can find. And there's interesting ways to naturally integrate them in the story that doesn't feel fake or forced. But not to run on a tangent, though. Moving on. She doesn't fit in the story. Like, at all. Bliss's existence single-handedly ruins the entire concept of the Powerpuff Girls, which is impressive to say the least. Let me explain. The movie goes more into this, but it's covered within the series too. Professor Utonium was living in a crime-ridden city and wanted to make little girls. I headcanon that he was just lonely because it's very clear he didn't intend for them to have superpowers, so maybe he wanted a family or something. Okay, with that in mind, the entire creation of the Powerpuff Girls was still an accident. He accidentally added Chemical X, which in turn gave them powers, all by accident. But the existence of Bliss no longer makes the Powerpuff Girls an accident. It makes them the final product. Bliss's existence makes her the prototype of the Powerpuff Girls. That professor made her realize she ain't come out right, and then actually made the real perfect little girls. You know, there's layers of problems with this, and I don't even know where to start. But I'll try. Okay. Her name is Blissina, Bliss, Francesca, Francia, Miriam, Alicia, Utonium. I don't know why her name is so much fucking longer than the rest of their names. Like, he named them so simple. Like, remember he named was like Buttercup because your name also begins with a B. But he got like 6-7 names for Bliss over here. But anyway, I'm moving right past that. I guess I want her to be different. Anyway, Bliss has anger issues. She has power stability problem. Because of that, she felt like she was a danger to Professor's safety, which she was. So she runs away along with her pet to like a literal shithole country. Like, it's literally poop, and she just lived there for years. Now, if we're gonna fix this abomination of a character, what would we do? Before I'd even get into the design, I changed the backstory because in my opinion it is very poorly made. First off, don't make her a Powerpuff Girl, or don't have her created by Professor Utonium. In the Powerpuff Girl series, anyone with Chemical X can essentially either gain powers or create life, which is pretty OP and cool in my opinion, so they could have played with that a little more. As you know, the Powerpuff Girls were made with it, so was Bunny, the knockoff girls, the Rowdy Rough Boys. All these characters were made with different purposes, and it reflects that in their personality. For example, the Powerpuff Girls were made to shine a positive light, so they are good-natured and kind. The Rowdy Rough Boys were made to destroy the Powerpuff Girls, so they're evil. The knockoffs were made cheap to make money, and their quality shows that. And Bunny was made, you know, unconcerning of her own well-being, so she's Bunny. Bliss was made for shits and giggles, guys. I swear, Powerpuff Girls 16, they don't even live in a city that has crime. Every villain is so lame. Like, I can't. The villains used to be so good, okay? So her entire existence is shallow from the get-go. So here's what I would do. Another city emulated the professor's formula to create a hero for their own city, but something went wrong, so they seeked out the professor to help fix Bliss, because she has that like power stability thing. They could have did that, and I would have accepted that, okay? Or they could have had a villain create Bliss to take down the Powerpuff Girls, but to differentiate her from the Rowdy Rough Boys, she isn't actually evil and doesn't want to fight everyone. I don't know. There are just better options than creating Bliss, having her be fucked up, and then run away to a pile of shit for years, and then creating the perfect girls like he was trying to create the first time. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous. Okay, let me stop swearing because one of my videos got demonetized because of that. It's so ridiculous. Like, it's literally so ridiculous. Like, so that's what I would do. Leading back to the design, if I were to design Bliss, I personally wouldn't give her bright blue hair just because... Okay, well, let me pause. Maybe the blue hair can work because it shows how unstable she is. She doesn't have like a natural hair color. I could see the logic going in there. Like the other girls, they have kind of a harmonious palette. Because she doesn't have that sort of, you know, power stability, her palette's whacked. So that makes sense narratively. And I think it could work, but like it just doesn't look good in my opinion. I'm not saying like it's because she has brown skin that the blue doesn't look good. I have the characters that have around the same color. It's just the whole thing, like the purple, the hips. Like there's only so many L's you can take in one design, and they use them all up. They use them all the fuck up. Okay, it's just no more L's to use. So I'd probably just, if I was gonna keep the blue hair, if I was gonna keep the blue, I would probably make it curlier, like make it. Just to have it stand out more, because it just looks like the fried version of Blossom's hair. So I'll probably have it curly, maybe cute Puff's hairstyle, something natural so it wouldn't look so fried. I just don't like, okay, I feel like if you're going to have a character with colored hair, at least make it look like their natural hair texture. Let me stop, let me move on. And that's about it. That's what I would change about Bliss. Thank you for listening to my, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but my entire session about me complaining about this half-decade old thing.
Okay, thanks for watching this video.
So that's the end of it. I have nothing else to say about this character. I do appreciate the creators for trying to be ambitious and add a person of color, even if they took a complete L and it flopped and we all hated it. I mean, we can always say you tried to get your sticker. And that's probably all I have to say about this.